was the proverbial force of nature, and there are not that many of them. Newt, I have described as a giant of a man in a small package. When he died, our community stood still, from the streets to the C-suites, numb from the news of our community's loss, hurting from the hole in our hearts. Almost 3,000 people packed the Chase Center on the day of his service to say goodbye. I was the executive director of the Riverfront Development Corporation for 20 years, and I never saw anything like that day. Our governor, U.S. senators, elected officials, and countless leaders all assembled to pay respects to the man whose name was Newt. When he asked me to tour Warner with him, his pride and joy, it was evident that this was a different kind of principal. He was a no-nonsense leader with the biggest heart. His greatest gift to his students was not just that he loved each one of them. His greatest gift to his students was that he believed in them, in their potential, in their intellect, their essential goodness, and in their value as members of our community. When we heard of his death, we thought an appropriate gesture by the city would be to name the street in front of his school in his honor, with a sign that reminded the students of Principal Newt each time they walked into the school. I've signed an executive order to that effect. While we honor Newt with this street naming, the real value of these signs is to remind all of us of what a life well lived looks like. It is a life that should set an example to all of us, to remind us that a life dedicated to others, giving more than receiving, and always loving our children is the essence of a spiritual existence. We are joined here by Newt's wife Paula and his family. We only hope, to members of this family, we only hope that this small gesture of community affection and respect helps lighten the load of your loss. It is my pleasure now to introduce the President of City Council, Trippy Congo.
Thank you, Mayor Przicki. I'd like to say good morning and hello to everyone who is here in attendance, everyone who is watching via social media, to the east side of Wilmington, to the west side, to the north side, South Bridge, Newcastle, Newark, Dover, Delaware State University, Hodgson, William Penn, Skyline, the Turnaround School in Pennsylvania, Pyle, HB, and a special good morning to the faculty and the staff here at Warner, and a special good morning to Newt's babies, the children that he absolutely loved and fought for and adored like they were his very own. Like Mayor Przicki just mentioned, there are very, very few people in our city like Newt who could just move and be influential in so many different circles. And he is an absolute legend in Wilmington. Newt was not afraid to share his story. And his story is a part of his greatness. And he shared his story with anyone who would listen, from him being a knucklehead when he was younger to one day just deciding to change his mind and be better and do better, and he became better. And that's what he imparted on his babies here at Warner and everybody who he came in contact with. He will be missed like none other. Newt was a special guy. We were all blessed to have him in our lives. And he realized how important it was just to give back. and to help others to realize that it's our responsibility to give back too. No matter what color, age, race, religion, all he wanted to do was love and help people better themselves, like he did. So I'm looking forward to continuing his legacy here at Warner with helping his babies to become better. And I think it's all of our responsibility to be a part of whatever we can do to help Newt's name live on forever. And one day, I hope to be somewhere here in the city of Wilmington, speaking somewhere where we are naming a school after Dr. Terrance Newton. Thank you. And definitely we want to give credit and props to Newt for who he was, but it also takes people to see that brilliance and his genius and his passion and his love that he had for children. And our next speaker, the Superintendent Green, is that man who without him we would never have known Newt's brilliance and his passion. So please give it up for Superintendent Green.
Good morning. Thank you to everyone for being here to continue to honor our friend, our fearless leader, our brother, Dr. Terrance D. Newton Sr., period. We have to make sure we put the period on that. What does it mean to have a legacy? It is about the richness of an individual's life, including what that person accomplished and the impact they had on other people and places. And so I stand before you today as we continue to help build a legacy, built on a strong foundation of love, respect, compassion, empathy. It goes far beyond putting a barbershop in an elementary school, because the barbershop was just a vessel to build relationships and connect. It goes far beyond the food pantry that not only gave families non-perishables, but we ordered a commercial refrigerator from our facilities department so that when families felt themselves in need, that need was met with compassion and empathy, so that you just wasn't giving them a box of dry goods as a charity, but something to uplift and motivate them to continue to get the support through the school. It was also putting a dental clinic here in Warner to ensure that our babies, our children, get their teeth cleaned twice a year. It went far beyond the academics. It was a whole child, whole school, whole community approach to Newt's leadership. And so as we honor, and this is one of many things that we'll continue to do to honor his legacy, but to let everyone know that the work that we established here under his leadership is not in vain. It's bigger than the man, and as if you know Newt and you know his personality, he was bigger than life. And I recognize that immediately upon meeting him, again, as you know the story at H.B. DuPont Middle School, where it went far beyond him being an assistant principal. Newt was a connector. If someone said at the service, if you needed a plumber and you didn't have one, you could call Newt. We were in the process of putting the aviation program here, which will continue. And thank you to Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, Mr. Calvin Christopher, and the members of that fraternity. We have the mindfulness room that's going to get put in place. So there are a number of things that we'll continue to do to honor his legacy, and just know that this is just one of many moments. So thank you for being here. Newt, we miss you. We love you. Also want to acknowledge his family, his brother Robert, Hakeem, his sister Kizzy, who are back there as well, and all of the other family members who have joined us today. We love him. And again, his name was Newt. And each and every one of us will take a part of that as we move forward and carry his legacy on. And for every student who comes to this doors, just know that each of you carry a part of who he was and what he represents. And it's up to you as well to carry that legacy forward. As you sit here and stand here with blazers and ties on, that was a representation of the excellence and that the expectation that we set forth, not just for you, but for the community as a whole. And if we can learn anything, far beyond his name was Newt, let's stand firm on who he was and what he represented. And so thank you to the mayor, to the city of Wilmington, to all of our other dignitaries for being here, for the community, Delaware State University, for continuing to support us as we honor Dr. Terrance Newton's legacy. Thank you. And without further ado, his right hand, because again, behind every great man, there's a strong team, and in this particular case, it's his assistant principal, now acting principal here at Warner, Kimberly Brewington.
Good morning. As Superintendent Green said, I'm Kimberly Brewington. I'm here for two assigned purposes. The first is to welcome you on behalf of the Warner Thunderbird family as the new acting principal. The second is to help dedicate the street in front of the campus to our beloved Dr. Terrance D. Newton Sr. And as he would always say, don't forget the period, Brewington. It is truly a blessing and an honor to be with you this morning. While the purpose that brings us here comes out of tragedy, it is not too small nor too insignificant of a task to intrude upon the time and attention of so many of you today. Thank you for coming. Newt, as he was so affectionately known, continues to give us inspiration, and we are grateful for it. The school community, on whose behalf I speak, have a great love and appreciation for this tremendous institution. But moreover, they have great expectations concerning you, our community leaders, organizations, and connected families. I pray that I may be directed by the Spirit to say something to you which will be useful in our lives. I am grateful that the city is honoring America's principal because Newt impacted so many lives. As a man of principle, integrity, and fidelity, he advocated for his babies by his example. How appropriate that the street running in front of Warner campus be named in his memory. It truly serves as a reminder to the friends and families of Warner, as well as the Thunderbirds, past, present, and future, of his marvelous example. As my good friend always said, we have work to do, so let's get to work. Warner Thunderbirds, we have an assignment. He gave us everything that we needed, so let's get to work. Thank you everyone for coming. We appreciate you. To the Newton family, thank you for allowing him to be part of our lives. He will be greatly missed. To Superintendent Green, thank you for putting him here. God had a purpose. His purpose was served. We will continue to live out his vision, his mission, and his legacy. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ms. Brewington. Let me just take an opportunity to introduce the County Executive, Matt Meyer, who's here, and James Spadola, City Council Member at Large. Paula, will you come on up here, spend a little time with me here? We have something very important we have to do.
Okay.
We have to pull that sign off. And we did. I said we need the tallest guy around, and they found it. So we're going to count down here. Start with a 5 and a 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull it that way. Let's go, guys. Okay, it worked. Hooray! We have one at each end of the street as well. You're not going to be able to miss it. Okay, Paula, microphone is yours. Okay, you going to be good?
Yeah, I'm good. Good morning, Mayor Prizicki, Wilmington City Council, Superintendent Green, Warner staff, and Newt's babies. I appreciate the support, outpour of love, and generosity during this time. The renaming and dedication of this street sign in Dr. Newt's name is meaningful in many ways. Street signs provide direction, like the lessons Dr. Newt taught his babies. He provided direction, a path forward, and he helped them navigate everyday life experiences. He greeted his babies in the morning because he wanted their day to start with a smile and a hug. Dr. Newton inspired his babies and reminded them that in order to be successful in life, education is key. My husband loves everything about Warner, but most of all, he loved providing his babies with hope, love, and a pathway for success. I know you're smiling down on us right now, so let's do what Dr. Newton would want us to do. Continue with this legacy, and as he would say, it's game time. Thank you, everyone.
Here, Paula, this is something you can put in the living room.
Thank you.
Just
Will
for
do.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming. Just a wonderful event. It made wonderful by your presence. Thank you all. So there you go. They want to see it. All right. Good job, guys. Go to work.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Every news channel is gonna be on DETV. So tell your mom, everybody turn on ABC 6, 3. They'll be on all of them.
All right, so let's,
Mexico.
oh, good.
It was actually our 2020 family vacation, but because of COVID, it got postponed and we ended up.
I'll give you a holler. We're going to
Okay.
get together and
Yep.
just
What's up?
talk about everything.
How you doing?
Well,
Yes, sir.
hey,